I am woman, I am fearless, I am sexy, I'm divine, I'm unbeatable, I'm creative, honey, you can get
Welcome back. Now on to Tumelo Madlala. This is yet another one of the late Senzo's childhood friends. They grew up together and even went to the same school. So they were pretty close. They were pretty close growing up. The one thing that I must point out about this friend, though, is that for this particular session with the prosecuting officer, he didn't have as much amnesia as the first one, the Twala guy. In fact, I think he divulged more detail than what was even asked for at times. Like how he highlighted the little detail that before the intruders came in, Zandi's sister would sit down and stand up. From how he was trying to describe it, it seemed to me like he wanted to say this person was a bit restless. Personally, I wouldn't read too much into that one because I do believe strongly that your body or your spirit will tell you or will try to tell you if something is wrong or if something is about to happen. It's like a feeling. So to me, it wouldn't really mean she was guilty of anything at that point. But someone else might feel like she already knew what was about to happen, seeing that the phone records suggest that she spoke with one of the accused persons days earlier. So somebody else might feel like she already knew what was about to happen. That remains to be seen. Well, Tumelo went on to give in very great detail how the scuffle happened between the occupants of the house and the two intruders. How Senzo pinned the first intruder to the kitchen wall, while the other occupants of the house literally assaulted the second intruder. And as he described this assault of the second intruder, he even pointed at one of the 5 accused on the accused stand to say that was the person that we were beating up. So this accused person who was pointed out by Tumelo was asked to stand. I couldn't help but notice that he's so little. He was so little. I only started following this trial now, so I really don't know how he looked like 9 years ago when the trial started. But from what I've seen today, I can only imagine he was even smaller, walking into a house full of people, full of men, demanding cell phones and money. No wonder those people probably felt that they can take them on and beat them up. And when he was standing up to be identified, he was just laughing. I mean, there's no respect for a life that was taken. No respect at all. Even if you're not responsible, laughing that moment off to me was a bit psychopathic. I guess this is why psychotherapists are needed to be able to understand such behavior. So moving right along, Tumelo said as the scuffle went on, the gun went off. And at that point, he ran into one of the bedrooms where Senzo's child was sleeping. And he locked himself in that bedroom. At that point, he said he had his cell phone with him. He locked himself behind the bedroom and he had a cell phone. But instead of calling for help or instead of calling for the police, he says he hid the phone under the blankets. I really would like to acknowledge the chaos that was probably in that house in that very moment. But even behind a locked door, a grown man could not find the strength to call the police or to call someone to say we're under attack. Anyway, I guess this one will forever be a mystery. So after the hospital and everything, when they got back to the Khumalo house, which was at this point a crime scene, Tumelo described that his crutches were there on the floor and the hat that the intruder with dreadlocks wore, it was there on the floor as well. At this point, I was like, wow, this is the single most important piece of evidence that is needed for this investigation team to crack it. Because DNA can literally tell you with a lot of accuracy who that dreadlocked person is between the two intruders and the occupants of the house. And at the same time, I'm like, it's been 9 years already. The case ended up in the cold case unit. That meant the lead was not good enough. Well, let's hope at some point we'll hear about this very important piece of information from the investigating officer or someone. The prosecuting officer, Mr. Baloyi, certainly writes quite a lot during these proceedings. So I'm hoping that he finds a lot of reason to explore that very little yet very important piece of information. I mean, we may not be forensic scientists or anything, but we've seen on TV how even the most elusive criminals have been caught through the DNA that was left on the crime scenes. This can't just work on TV. it should also be able to work in real life. And this other bit that I picked would really need a little bit of context, because if you don't know what the whole conversation was like, and you just hear that later on during the day when they had gathered back at Kelly's house and talking about the events of that day, Longa's father asked Kelly if she wanted to go on holiday. That was rather odd. That was very odd. Something tragic just happened. The woman just lost her baby's daddy. It didn't make sense. And without much context, it seemed to me like it was just a random piece of information that may or may not add any value to the prosecution. Certainly the level of detail that this witness was able to bring to the prosecuting table will probably make for a very interesting cross-examination. Let's hope he can stick to his story when the defense attorneys come through. Thank you, my friends. I will see you very soon. Please do remember to like and subscribe.